In the quiet town of Dhanpur, nothing felt wrong until the day Guru Arvind arrived. No one knew where he came from, no records, no past, no trail, just a man in white robes standing beneath a blazing sun as if the world had been waiting for him. Within days, he wasn't a visitor anymore. He became an event. A presence that bent the town's attention like gravity itself. People began to gather, first out of curiosity, then desperation, then something far more dangerous, belief. At first, it was harmless miracles whispered through crowds. A pain that vanished. A sickness that eased. A grief that felt lighter after a touch, a word, a glance. But what grew faster than the miracles was the money. Donations started as offerings, then became sacrifices. Families gave away savings, jewelry, land deeds, anything that could be turned into approval from the guru. And in the middle of it all stood Rohan Mehta, a journalist who noticed something others refused to see. Nothing about this growth felt natural. It felt designed. Behind the smiling face of Guru Arvind, something else was moving. Quietly. Precisely. People didn't just believe in him, they surrendered. And every surrender seemed to disappear into sealed containers, black vehicles, and locked rooms no follower was allowed to question. The deeper Rohan looked, the more the story turned from strange to unsettling. A former accountant who once worked for the guru appeared in secret, trembling, speaking in half-sentences about money trails that didn't behave like charity at all. Millions moving through invisible channels. Names erased. Companies that existed only on paper. And then, just as suddenly as he appeared, the accountant vanished. No goodbye, no trace, no explanation. Only silence where a person used to be. That silence changed everything. Rohan and Neha began following the edges of the illusion, tracing the guru's retreat center, a place that looked peaceful on the surface but felt wrong the moment you stood near it. Hidden beneath it, they found something worse than secrecy, control. Rooms filled with surveillance screens. Storage spaces packed with wealth. Systems built not just to collect money, but to study people. To predict them. To guide their fear, their hope, their devotion like instruments in a machine. And then came the recordings. The voice of Guru Arvind, once soft and divine in public, became something colder in private. Laughing. Calculating. Speaking about belief like it was a resource to be harvested. Followers weren't souls to him, they were numbers, movement, leverage. Faith wasn't sacred. It was currency. When the truth finally leaked, it didn't spread like information. It exploded like infection. The empire that once looked untouchable began collapsing under its own weight. Authorities moved in. The retreat center filled with chaos. Followers screamed, cried, refused to accept what was happening even as evidence was placed directly in front of them. Some people can't lose a belief without losing a part of themselves, and that was exactly what made it dangerous. Guru Arvind was taken away in handcuffs, but even then, something felt unfinished. As if the system around him had been built to survive him, not depend on him. That was the real fear settling in. He might not have been the only one. Just the most visible one. Weeks later, investigators uncovered the deeper truth. This wasn't the first identity. Not even close. Names changed. Locations changed. Followers replaced. Each time, the same pattern repeated: hope offered, trust taken, wealth drained, then disappearance before suspicion could fully form. A cycle polished to perfection over years. And in the final recovered notes, one line remained, written calmly as if it were not a confession but a promise: people never stop believing. If one face falls, another will always be ready. That was the last thing Rohan understood about the story. The horror was never just the man in white robes. It was how easily the world keeps building him again.